Hello and welcome to the Wheel to Wheel podcast. I'm Ali,
I'm Akeem.
and this is our Imola review.
Yes.
All right, Akeem. All right, I think there's only one place to really start, and that is turn one. Actually, no. Let's start with the qualies.
Ooh.
Let's start with qualies because we know that Imola is one of those tracks that, having pole position is vital. Yeah, I mean, let's go for the predictions because what did you say again?
Ooh. What did I say? I think I put Lando first.
Yeah,
Did I put Max second or third?
I think Max second.
Yeah, and then PS behind him, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ali was right.
I mean, you got two right.
What's this,
You got two right though.
Yeah. But
I got two right as well for the qualies.
Yeah.
But I think my bold shout over George Russell third was. I mean, I was kind of not really expecting it to. I was like hoping that Mercedes would do something with the upgrades, and they didn't. But we'll get into Mercedes
Updates.
soon. Yes, updates. But yeah, my one was Max Pole, but he lost that by just tiny margin to Oscar. And George third. I think that's the only one I actually got right in any order. It was just George third.
Yeah.
You only got one right in one orders.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
you know what? To be honest, I think it was we were quite cool with it. Not too bad.
yeah,
Not too bad with our predictions. I think when it came to the actual qualies, though, it was shocking to see Tsunoda. That's one thing neither of us actually predicted.
Sonoda crash was crazy. When I saw that, I was like, "What? I hope he's okay." But hey, shout out to the Halos because that's probably the best invention in sports history. I have to say.
Facts. I mean, it kind of reminded me of Joe News crash as well.
In Silverstone, yeah, that was pretty intense.
Yeah, it wasn't as bad. Don't get me wrong, but it was one of those things where I think they had a similar thing with the
Flipping, yeah.
flipping over, tumbling. That was scary, man.
But he really fully sent it, didn't he? I don't know.
Well, yeah, he was going for it, man. You know what I mean? But I think that's what comes with the pressures of Red Bull. I think he's in a position where he has to perform in it. So I think even in quali, I think he just put his all for it, really. You know, and
Started in the pit lane for it though.
good recovery.
Yeah, good recovery. But then, what was our race predictions?
So, what was our race predictions?
I remember mine.
We should start writing this shit down.
No, I think you said Lando.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Lando, he done well climbing through the field. I think if it wasn't for he actually qualified, he was looking like he could have good max. Good run for his money, to be honest.
And it's shocking because for someone that was a really good qualifier last year, he's really struggling this year, and I don't think anybody expected him to qualify fourth. It gave him too much work to do in the race because he had really good pace.
Pace was there.
Yeah, and then second, I think you put Max or Oscar. I think you kind of kept the same quali prediction as your race prediction.
Yeah.
I think me too. I think that was the thing that we went for.
Because I think stereotypically, Imola is one of those tracks where we predicted not a lot of overtakes. The race order is going to be quite, the same. But I was very surprised.
But it delivered, didn't it?
It really delivered well. Delivered really well.
And who got the race winner correct?
So
Can't hear you.
So 4 times, now 5.
Mm-hmm.
5-time winner. Imola GP. Max.
Yes. It was always going to be.
It's always Max, isn't it? I can't even lie.
No, I mean, I can't lie. I did have doubt going into it. I thought McLaren would win it just because Oscar was on pole. And I thought, yeah, it should be sort of a slam dunk. McLarens are the fastest car. They've got pole. But yeah, I think that's a good way to get into what happened in turn one because when I was watching it, I just thought, like Max didn't get off well. It wasn't like a terrible start, but he just was slower than Piastri, and I thought, okay. But then when George was had a better start than Max. I was thinking, Max, don't lose the place, just kind of keep it second. And then as we were kind of approaching turn one, I was just thinking they're going to keep order. And out of nowhere, Max just on the outside takes him, and he caught Oscar napping.
That was dirty. But he wasn't expecting it. I wouldn't really expect that. I was thinking Max was going to yield, try to get him.
He was too far back to do it. It was like amazing late braking.
Facts.
And to keep it in the white lines in such a late move, and it was just, when you watch the aerial view of it, it was like beautiful. Like that needs to be studied. That move, it needs to be studied. That was just
turn one. Oh, it was beautiful. Max, mate.
It was
Max,
like
mate. I can't hate.
He did turn one in 2021 against Lewis, starting from third. I thought that was amazing, but this was, I think, better. This was much better. That was beautiful. And yeah, Max kind of set off into the distance. He had more pace than the McLarens. The competitive car, he said he felt much better, that they made improvements, which is quite scary but exciting at the same time, because we get more competition for this season.
And I think right now they're in a better position where I can see like Red Bull's actually getting more aggressive with the updates now, turning into upgrades. So that's legit now. We can actually say they're upgrades. And it's working. They had good pace. The McLarens weren't really eating any chunks off his gap.
No, if anything, he was eking a gap.
I mean, even near the end, I remember it was like 9 seconds, and I was watching it lap by lap, and I was like, okay, it's not going down.
No,
it's not going down at all.
But I don't want to get too ahead of myself with it, just because there might probably a lot of factors going into it. He had the clean air. Imola is also a hard track to overtake, but that wasn't a factor in it because he had such a gap going for himself. So I don't know. I think even Monaco is one of those ones where, like, if he gets pole, does he? You won't be to tell. I think you've got to wait to the Spanish Grand Prix to kind of really tell.
By 100%. And got an interesting thing happening as well.
Go on.
Technical directive. So we're gonna see if McLaren's gonna be yielding.
What, in Spanish Grand Prix?
Yeah, the technical directive in it. So we're gonna see if the flexi wing thing is actually a thing or not.
But yeah, like in terms of upgrades for Red Bull, like they copied the side pod design, and it works. I think you kind of have to copy the
winning team. You have to. I mean, at one point when it was RB19, everyone was looking at them and starting to take inspiration as well, isn't it? It's just very interesting to see Red Bull now take inspiration from other teams.
Yeah, it's because they kind of lead the way of like great engineering with aerodynamics. Because when Adrian Newey was there, everybody was like, "What's Adrian Newey doing?" I
think Adrian Newey does.
Yeah, exactly. Just do everything that Adrian Newey does.
Facts.
But it was a good race, exciting race. I think, we didn't really get a battle for P1, which was a little annoying. But it's nice to not see a McLaren win this time around.
Wow.
Just to spice up the championship, I think, Max needed to win that one to kind of keep in touching distance.
He's always keeping it close.
Yeah, he's just letting them know that I'm here. Like, don't forget about me. Yeah,
I'm still about. I'm not out of the championship yet.
He's kind of little broing them at times.
I mean, there are points where he, like Japan, he's really made it clear that, I'm like, I can still pull off wins in a lesser car, and at that point, it was a more technical track as well, I believe.
Yeah, it seems to be a pattern. That's why I went for my prediction for Max win and even a Max pole. And the more technical tracks, he seems to be outperforming the McLarens and everybody else.
Yeah.
So far. He got his second win of the season, 7 races in, which is quite strange considering he's been dominating for the last 4 years.
I know, isn't it?
There's only 2 wins on the board, with Oscar for 4 and Lando only 1. So he's got more wins than Lando in the McLaren.
That's wild, isn't it? Wow. And this is Lando saying, it's the car. Once you have a good car, you can put it, anywhere. Yeah.
But I think a Lando win is pending.
Yeah, it's gonna come out soon.
Speaking of Lando, I thought he had a great race. His pace was almost at the level of Max, but not quite. He was good.
And you know what? I think like this is weird between him and like Piastri. They have moments of brilliance. Like I think like this race was Lando's race. It's just a shame on the actual qualifying, and it's always been Lando that has a better quality than
last year. Yeah,
well. You know what I mean?
It's a strange one. They kind of traded places in that sense, but not really at the same time because Lando's always been faster than Oscar in race pace. So it's tough. I mean, I think Lando has always been the faster driver. It's just missing a few components mentally.
Yeah, I think with Lando it's all mental. I believe he is still in his head with a lot of things. So like even when he's like chasing at someone, he loses a little bit, go a little bit over sometimes. But you know what? I think he's channeling it down. He's due a real win soon.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's cut the negativity on Lando because you know what? Yeah, let's give him his flowers. He had a good race. I have to say he made two great overtakes against George and against his teammate Oscar after the safety car restart. And like he drove a brilliant race. He maximised his result from 4th place and finishing 2nd ahead of Oscar Piastri, which was key.
Team orders.
Yes.
What do you think? Do you think when Lando said that thing about, like at that point when he was coming out to Piastri, do you think he should have let through? Do you think, because he did make a good observation about Oscar's tires.
Yeah, it was almost like he's asking, but I'm not asking. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one because it's sensitive. I think because Oscar's leading it, like by, I think 20 points or something.
Yeah.
They don't want to upset Oscar to be like, yeah, your tires are mashed up. Like let Lando through so you can have a go at Max if you can.
Mm.
But Andrea Stella was in his interview. He said that the reason why they didn't do that is because they believed that Lando was going to pass Oscar easily anyway with the new tires. But then, if that's the case, then why not just let him through and have a proper chance? Because you kind of wasted time.
That's the problem, isn't it? And I feel like going forward, that's something McLaren are gonna be facing a lot of right now. It's like, what driver do you really prefer? And who are you going to give priority to?
I don't even think it's like a preferential thing. I think it's just more maximising team results at that point. You know, I think what McLaren misses out, they don't have the balls to make big decisions. I think they're a very safe team when it comes to strategy. Mm-hmm. Like, they're almost happy to be like a podium is... It is a good result for the team, don't get me wrong. 2nd and 3rd is still good. But for McLaren, they should be optimizing for the best result, which is 1st and 2nd, if not, like, you know, at worst 1st and 3rd. But, you know, I just think, like, where's your balls, man?
Grab them, big
balls. Pause.
No, did he?
No, did he? For sure does. But speaking, if it were on McLaren, then I want to touch upon Oscar. Like, napped on turn 1, which cost him the race ultimately. But then he was struggling on medium tyres. But then I think everybody was at the time. But then as the laps went on, the medium tyre was the better tyre to stay on because it did sort of come into play. But yeah, he kind of compromised his own race altogether, didn't he?
Yeah, and he was a bit unfortunate as well. I think even Max, he was very fortunate, especially with the safety cars. He banks a good timing, and I believe he went in a little bit too early pitting as well, to be fair.
That was Lando that kind of... Because Lando pitted probably like seconds before the virtual safety car came out. And that benefited Max because he pitted exactly the... I think strategy was bang on from Red Bull. bang on. Like everything was worked out perfectly. It's like tyre advantage, always pitting during a safety car, a virtual safety car. The gap, he built up such a good gap that nothing was ever under threat. Even without a safety car, they would have been fine. Like he had like 8-10 seconds. I think he had like an 18-second gap to Oscar at one point.
That's crazy.
He pitted.
Yeah.
He was phenomenal.
He nearly earned another pit stop. You know, cheeky. He could at one point.
But yeah, I mean, mediums did take time to warm up, and ultimately it was the best tyre. And you could see that with people like Hadjar and Albon. That was, you know, in and around like the podium positions, and
it's crazy.
It was good. I think Imola was.
I think
race.
You know what? It delivered a lot more than I thought it was gonna like actually deliver. Like even Aston Martin, they were a good surprise themselves.
Yes,
very good surprise.
They made you eat your words a little bit, kind of, because they didn't bag any points.
They were on fire.
Yeah, literally. And Alonso's radio, his comments about how he's the unluckiest driver in the world. I was like, oh, Alonso, I know.
He's not wrong to be.
Yeah, you are. But yeah, Aston Martin, crazy in qualifying. They Fernando Alonso in 5th and Lance Stroll in 8th, and he's having a bit of underrated season, Lance Stroll.
I know. He outdone both Ferraris. That is true.
Yeah.
You know?
We'll get on to Ferrari. But yeah, Aston Martin was really good.
I think...
Is it a turning point? I don't know whether that's the Adrian Newey effect.
But I think this is going to be interesting because we're going to see them in a point where they potentially might have the best car or top 3, top 5, whatever, next season. But like we see McLaren, when they had the fastest car last year, can you make the best decisions all the time? And I don't think they've been in that point where, because even Alonso had moments where he had brilliance, 8 podiums back to back, and he could have potentially got a race win in Monaco, I believe.
Yeah,
as well. And I believe they weren't ready to they didn't pull it off well. But going forward, 2026, are they that team?
Only time will tell. They're not being challenged in those situations as like a front running team. But you know, you got an old head, an experienced head in Fernando Alonso. I think that will help them along the way to be that team.
A little off topic, but who's the second driver? Like, let's be real. Who's the 2026 lineup? Because Aston Martin, do you really think it's going to be Stroll and Alonso?
I think we just got to take it as that for now, because look, with Max potentially leaving, I still think it's a big shout, like a big reach to be like, oh, Max is going to go to Mercedes, he's going to go to Aston Martin. Because if the Red Bull is what it is, that it showed in Imola, and it is performing, and they've given him a competitive car to fight against the McLarens, and if he goes on to win his 5th championship, Max is staying. No doubt in my mind, he's staying. I think he's such a Red Bull guy. He's like Leclerc. If Leclerc wanted to leave to another team, it's so hard for him to leave, and I think it's the same at Red Bull. He's just so ingrained into everything about Red Bull. Everything he does is Red Bull. Like, even the clothes he wears on a weekend, like on a non-race weekend, he's wearing Red Bull. Do you know what I mean? It's so hard to see him outside of... I think I've said Red Bull so many times. I'm just going to say it one more time just for everybody. Red Bull. Just might as well.
We're drinking rum, man.
Red Bull. Drinking rum.
But I think every athlete are like there to win, innit? And let's just say, like, they're a Ford next year as well. So it's going to be one of those things where can Ford deliver as good as Honda? And if they're not, then, and it's going to be...
One thing that goes well for Red Bull is, even though they've shown like chinks in their armor in the past like year and a bit now, they're just a competent team. Like, you can sort of rely on them recovering, finding their feet, and really trying to be competitive. And you can't say that about a lot of teams. Like, you know, Mercedes, I feel like giving up in this regulation. They're like, we'll wait till like when the engine regulation suits us, because they just didn't do well in the ground effects era. Ferrari did try, but they're Ferrari. Kind of goes without saying.
But to be fair, they're the only team that's won throughout every year so far.
Yeah.
Every at least one race.
Yeah.
Only team that's won.
My point is about being competent throughout.
That's another question in itself, mate. You know?
But thing, you can kind of trust and rely on Red Bull to want to be good. And
True.
Yeah, like we don't know what Ford is saying. And Red Bull are a very secretive team. They keep everything. They keep their cards close to the chest. True. Maybe they are doing well. We don't know. So, only they know more than us. We're straying off. Let's go back into the race.
Yeah.
Leclerc Albon.
Ooh, that was crazy.
It's a Williams versus Ferrari season, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be versus McLaren. Ferrari and McLaren, but no. No, it's Ferrari and Williams. Very interesting, especially with Sainz. Sainz is in a very weird predicament right now. I think he's actually rated higher than Lewis in the drivers' ranking.
What driver's ranking is this though?
I think it was for the game or something.
Oh,
whatever.
That don't mean nothing. That don't mean nothing.
It's still something to talk about. And on top of all of this, right, it's like, I think right now he's in a bit where he can actually say like, yo, listen, you guys replaced me and I'm still beating you guys. He can really, like, he's in a really like, yo, I can stunt right now.
I don't think he has any right to stunt just yet because...
Oh, but he potentially could.
You know what? His decision to go to Williams is showing that it's a really good decision.
Yeah.
Because of how good Williams have been this season. However, saying that, it's like he's doing well, but at the same time, he's not really delivering. He's not maximizing his results like how Albon is doing. And for the most part, he is finishing behind the Ferraris. But he is in and around that bit. And maybe in time, he will get there because it is a new team. He needs to find his feet.
However, I would say like he is still just finding this team as well. I think when a new driver goes to a different team, especially when the home body's been there, especially you're seeing it with like Lewis in Ferrari, you're seeing it with even Racing Bulls. I can see where the home body is always going to be, have that little edge on them. But for the most part, I think he's adjusting quite well.
It's a good comparison. Lewis adjusting to Ferrari and Albon adjusting to Williams. Who's adjusted better?
Oh, between Lewis and Sainz.
Yeah.
That's very interesting actually, because you know what? I think there are moments of brilliance for both of them, but I would... Oh, it's a good one. Because Sainz had more crashes as well. He's had more... I think he's even had more incidents, more early exits.
A lot with Yuki. He's picked on Yuki. It's like, again, this guy.
But I think I'll give Lewis a little edge. He had a sprint win. We haven't seen him crash the car or anything crazy like that. He's been quite safe.
He crashed it with Sainz in Miami, but my Sainz crashed it with Lewis.
I think that was good. I think that was good car control. I give him that. He had good car control.
No, I agree. I think Lewis has been better than Sainz so far. And speaking of Lewis, he had a really good first race in Italy. It's a good race in the sense that it was a good recovery, starting from 12th on the grid and finishing P4. And he said that it was one of his best races because of the occasion and him being a Ferrari driver in Italy.
And it's very interesting because I thought he would have mentioned Bahrain in his post-interview, but because I saw quite a similar thing with him climbing through the field. Good to see that he still has that racecraft, but I've realized that the pace is there. The pace is there in that Ferrari.
Yeah.
But I believe with them, right, it's just you have to... Ferrari, you need to put yourself in a better position, man. When you're starting 12th, 11th, 7th, 8th, if Ferrari gets the top 5, they can really go far. And they can really challenge for podiums. I don't want to say race wins yet, but they can definitely challenge.
You don't want to get ahead of yourself. I like how that's not even like, we can't dare talk about championship, but just even race when you're like, whoa, steady on there. Can't get too far. Not even a race win.
No, stop
Let
it.
alone a
No.
podium.
No.
I think they've only got one podium still though. And that's with Leclerc.
Charles.
Yeah. Was it Jeddah? Ferrari is just the team that always delivers on entertainment.
I always say it's like being an Arsenal supporter, innit? I get them. I understand Arsenal supporters a lot more now since I've been rooting for Ferrari, man.
But yeah, while we're still on the subject of Ferrari, what did you think of Leclerc's race? I think there's like two things to really talk about, which is after safety car, I don't think he had any ties to be able to pit, which kind of left him vulnerable to Albon, and then Albon and Leclerc turn one incident. Where do you stand on all that?
I think it's a very interesting predicament because I believe that if there was a runoff, because Imola has a different like layout to the other tracks, it's very traditional, gravel, whatever. But I believe if they did have a runoff area, we would be looking at it a little bit differently because Albon would be coming back on the track, resuming. But because there's more consequences to going off the grid, like off the track, he went into the gravel. You know what I mean? He lost a place to Lewis. All of these things happen, and it's more one of those races where you look at what happened, the result. We're looking at the result of it, not so much the actual incident itself. But it was hard racing, man. It was just hard racing.
I'd go with hard racing as well. It's one of those. It's 50-50. So if something's 50-50, for me, it's mostly just comes down to hard racing. Like at some point, it did look like Leclerc is kind of shoving him off. But then I think there's like the new rule of like, the other car has to be a significant amount ahead on the apex, which the attacking car, and I don't know what the margins are for that, but yeah, I just feel like maybe Albon was entitled to more room, but also Leclerc is allowed to take his line and just, I don't know, it's 50-50 to me, and I think a little hard done. Leclerc gave back the place eventually.
What do you think of that call by Ferrari to give the place back? Because that wasn't from the FIA. That was Ferrari.
I think it's sensible. I think, why risk a penalty and risk a worse position?
Yeah. Damage limitation.
Yeah. And the points difference between like, what is it? 5th and 6th is not that much of a difference between them. So I think just do it. It's better than risking a 5-second penalty and then climbing down a bit more.
And in form of the, don't want to lose in front of the Tifosis, You don't want to lose, man, because it was bad enough and it was a good recovery. I don't even think they really made a bad decision, Ferrari, that race. I think they made good calls. Like, well done, Ferrari.
Well done.
Get a well done.
I know you cheating Ferrari, like you get like good job, good doing great.
Good job. Keep it. I want more decisions like this. I want it for Monaco. That's what I want.
We want it for Leclerc, but stay tuned. We'll have a Monaco preview. But before we sign out from this video, we need to touch up on Mercedes. They brought in a few upgrades for this race, and I thought they would be competitive this weekend. Talk me through your thoughts. What do you make out of the updates?
Updates, definitely updates. Latest update, it seemed like it worked at first. George, your prediction?
Yeah, but he set them on the medium compound, so I don't think that's down to like the car being great. I think he just was smart enough to be like, you know what, the soft compound isn't that great. I think the medium's the best, and it showed.
Yeah, true. So I think going forward, Mercedes are very interesting. I believe that this is the best I've seen them with having a solid foundation of a car. However, this one is just it's George is maximizing as much as he can with it, and he's putting it in places where it's notable. But I don't know if I can see a race win yet from them. I don't know if
I think it will come.
Yeah,
I think it will come.
Because there's a lot of season left, to be fair. But I think right now, especially with Kimi's retirement, I haven't really the last retirement engine related. I haven't seen. Did I see that from the W15? Did they have engine?
I think that they did have one in Abu Dhabi, not last year, but I think the year before in 2023 potentially. But yeah, they don't really have that much reliability issues. Mercedes are quite good in that sense.
It's a scary thing when I see them have, you know what I mean? When I see them have it, because they're very notable for actually having very good reliability.
But it was sad that Kimi had the retirement. It was his home race. He brought all his school friends to watch the race. If I was a school friend, I'd just be like, "You're shit, mate." Just to add some salt to the wound.
Bad friend. Bad friend.
Nah, it's just banter, isn't it?
At his expense.
But yeah, Mercedes. They eventually will get a race win. I think again, you know, it's hard for any team to sort of like get their updates working straight away. I think give them time to kind of like find the balance of the car and then play around with things. George did say in an interview that we're rubbish in hot days and we're good in cold days, and I think that's the common problem that's been happening with Mercedes
wow. For a while now, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah. But I would say so far, like when they're in the cold,
they're dangerous.
Dangerous, mate. Lightning. Especially in Vegas.
They were rapid in Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas. I believe they'll get a win in Vegas. I'll give them that. I believe. I'll say it from now. Race
I'll clip this up.
Yes,
I'll clip it.
Put it in bold, mate. I'm bold with it.
But on that, guys, stay tuned. We've got a Monaco Grand Prix preview coming up. Thanks for joining.
Wait to see that one.